Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bit of Chap. Today we have awesome guests. He's flown up from Sydney, and we've just been. It's the first one we've actually done the day today. But thanks for coming up, Jamie. Do you want to give us a bit of a spiel on what you do?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me.
Pleasure.
And yeah, basically what I do is I run a marketing agency. So I help people with the main problem of how to get more customers and at a lower cost. That's pretty much, in a nutshell, that's what I do, man. So
Amazing.
yeah, I'm sure we'll get into how we do that
Oh,
today.
yeah. Absolutely. So we'll start from the very start because, again, the whole podcast is about trying to explore how people got to the successes they got today.
Yep.
So at school, whereabouts did you go? How did you find school? Were you a good student?
Yeah, like primary school, I was, just an average student, man. Nothing special. Didn't really excel or anything like that. Started getting really into girls. Like I was actually having this conversation with my wife on the way here. Yeah, just started getting into girls like really early, man. Like around probably like year 4 or 5. Because I had like older boys, in the family and stuff, and they were all like into girls and pornos and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I was like fascinated by it. So yeah, I was kind of more into that like around that time, and then high school. First couple years, I hated it, man. I was like, just trying to, I guess, find myself. Didn't really know who I was. Wasn't really like clicking with anyone in particular. And
Did you do any sports?
Yeah, so I did taekwondo from the age of like
Cool.
6 to the age of maybe 18 or so.
Oh, so you could fuck someone up if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'd probably pull a hammy now if I tried to do anything. But
I could have.
Yeah, look, back in the day, it's probably one of the best things I ever did, man. Just for like self-confidence, and not only that, they just teach you so much about just how to be a good person, integrity,
Discipline.
values, discipline. Yeah. So yeah, I did that as well. But yeah, basically at school, man, I was never a student at all. Like probably around sort of like year 9, year 10, started hanging out with a bit of the wrong crowd. Just didn't really rock up to school, man, to be honest with you. Like went there, ticked my name off, went and did my thing.
So you weren't overly studious or anything at school, just sort of going through the motions.
The thing is though, like I passed everything. And I got into uni. So like I basically didn't put much effort in, but ended up getting the result that I needed to keep my parents happy and to get myself into uni. And
especially in WOG households, that's important.
Oh man, massively.
What's your heritage?
Greek.
Yeah.
Greek
cool.
background, yeah.
Yep.
So
Halfy like you.
Yeah.
yeah, you're Greek as well.
I'm half Indian, half Greek.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a mad mix. I like that.
That's why he's got the crazy eyes.
Yeah. You got the good tan too, bro.
Yeah,
You got that.
Thanks, Mum.
So yeah, man, that's pretty much my school days. Yeah.
And did you have any like mentor teachers or anything going through that made an impact and pushed you in the right direction? Because you said you're hanging out with a bit of a rough crowd.
Yeah, bit of a rough crowd, man. To be honest, my taekwondo instructor at the time, like he was, someone I did not fuck with, like at all, man. This guy, still to this day, man, massive respect. Like he says something, mate, like instantly listen to it, no matter what it was. So, like I never like started fights or anything like that at all. Like it wasn't. No, not to be honest, man. I actually didn't get into that many fights just because I think like martial arts teaches you how to carry yourself.
And de-escalate.
Yeah.
That's last resort.
Man, one of the things that they taught us, like as kids, was just to walk around with your head up high. Just that alone showcases that, like don't fuck with this person type thing. So, yeah, I never actually got into any beef or any sort of issues like that. Like there was the odd, scuff here and there, but basically, man, it was just hanging around a crew that were just a bit sort of rough around the edges, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you think that the things that you learned in martial arts, the discipline, those intrinsic skills, those inner skills, are benefiting you today in what you do in business?
100%.
And how you orchestrate your business as well?
100%.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you finished up school.
Yeah.
And when you graduated, were you already did you know what you wanted to do, or what was the path after school?
Yeah, so obviously my dad's actually, aside from my taekwondo instructor, my dad has been a very, very big part of my, kind of guidance from very young age, and mum too. And basically, I wanted to, as every kid would want to do, like wanted to be a cop, wanted to be a fireman, wanted to be all these crazy things. And then I kind of saw my dad's journey and how he kind of built himself up. It was all through property. So that was one thing that I thought, okay, yeah, like I'm interested in that. I'm interested in property. So basically, I thought I wanted to be a property valuer. That's what I thought I wanted to do. So I got into uni for that. But what happened was, like, around sort of like year 11, like last couple of years of school, my best mate, he had older brothers that were playing in the clubs, that were DJing, they were like, you know, just doing sick shit on the weekends. And I started getting into music like in those last couple of years of school.
Yeah, cool.
Right? So, but it was just me like literally DJing in my bedroom, or doing like a 21st, or doing, you know, not even a 21st, we were like 18 at the time. So doing little parties and side gigs for no money, right? Anyway, as soon as I got into uni, the first day, first class, I met a producer. Like, he was the guy that I sat next to for the first time. He was like a producer that was getting some steam. Like, he was playing some shows. Like,
no way.
Yeah, right. And bro, I didn't do work the whole 3 years, man. I didn't do anything. I was going to uni like every day, showing him like the beat that I just made the night before. Like, that's why I was going to uni, to get feedback from him. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and like one thing actually.
What's his name?
Sargon.
Cool.
Sargon, yeah. I'll never forget him, man. He's a legend. Helped me out a lot. And yeah, man, basically what happened was, throughout uni, I just fell in love with music. And I'm like, I got into a couple of clubs, like, you know, through my mates' brothers and stuff. And man, I just fell in love. I'm like,
What did you love about it?
Bro, it was actually the first time I ever got into a club was actually 17.
Same.
Got in.
Fake IDs, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, man, just got straight in. And like, I walked into the club, and I was just, it's obviously something that you've never experienced before as a young kid. You know, you've been to parties and stuff, but just seeing it going off, man, it was like this cave room. And bro, just the vibe got me. Like, I was just hooked. I'm like, man, fuck, I need to do this.
Just got goosebumps.
Yeah. No, seriously. So after that was it, man. And then just kind of seeing the life that these older boys were living, and, you know, partying and all that kind of stuff. When you're young, like, that was I was like, man, what?
It was appealing,
you get paid to do this? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's sick.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And what sort of music were you making and DJing?
So it was all electronic music. Like electronic dance music.
Are you still making it today?
Nah, man. I actually, when COVID kind of hit, I went through a little phase where I started making some stuff again. Yep. But it was just like real, you know, just for fun. Yep. Nothing too serious. But I've got a lot of mates still in the game. So I'm gonna come back one day and do something.
That'd be awesome.
One day. But I'm gonna do it completely differently, man.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later as well.
Awesome. Yeah.
So and it was like hard EDM, or was it like house?
No, it was like harder.
Yeah,
festival kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
So my tracks got signed to like Calvin Harris's label, Tiesto, Afrojack.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, Laid Back Luke. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Were there any big gigs you went to and rolled out?
Yeah. So I played pretty much.
You got to tell some stories of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played pretty much all over the world, man. Pretty
much.
So
you travelled internationally for this too?
Bro, yeah. There was this point in my life where I was probably spending more time in the airport than at home.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro.
So when did this start to escalate for you? What age?
Yeah, so what happened was, went through uni, all the way through uni, I was learning, right? I was just learning how to produce. I was playing shitty gigs. I was playing at like RSLs at the pizza night. But like what I was doing was like, I was just letting them mix. Like I worked it out because I was there every single week. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. It's 3 hours every week. No one really gives a fuck about what I'm playing. I just made a mix for 3 hours. I played the exact same fucking mix every week. And in that 3 hours, I was using that time to produce. I just had my headphones on and I was just making music. Any spare second I got, I was trying to make music, right? So I was doing that all throughout my 3 years at uni. At the end of uni, funnily enough, I actually got placed into a very large company called Jones Lang LaSalle, like a very big property company, as a property valuer.
So you graduated with your property value degree?
I graduated, and I got placed into a job too, which like everyone was trying to get. I didn't really want to get it, but I got it, right? Anyway, so it was the first job I had. Went in there, and right at this time, I was getting, you know, like gigs from America. People hitting me up from there, gigs in interstate here. I was starting to build some traction right at that same time that I got the job.
Yeah, wow.
So I was at this kind of like crossroads in my life. I'm like, what do I do, man? Like, I've got the opportunity that anyone would want after graduating, but I've also got an opportunity to, you know, go for it with my music. Family was telling me, oh, you know, no, be smart, you know, do this. All of my mates were like, oh man, you know, take the job, it's good money, blah, blah. But something inside you, man, is just like, you know, I don't want to live with regrets. Like I don't want to get to the age of 40, 50 and be like, fuck, I wish I tried that.
We can always go back to that as well. You've already got the degree.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. But at the time I was like, nah, it's plan A or nothing. Like I don't want to be thinking about plan B.
Sure.
If I'm going to do this, I'm going all in on it.
Fuck yeah.
Balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall.
So yeah, man. So I had a 3-month probation on 2 months and 29 days. Like literally on the last day, I'm like, nah, fuck this. I'm going for it.
Really?
Yeah, man. And that's where it all kind of kicked off.
Well, I guess if you know, in the 2 months and 29 days that you did stay there and you thought, oh, maybe, you know what, this was the right decision, you would have you had that 2 months and 29 days to experience it in its full capacity at this position that you're in, and that wasn't it.
So man, like, I got in first 2 weeks, I was loving it. I'm like, yeah, you know, something new, blah, blah, blah. And then soon after that, I actually started feeling like sick, like from the corporate, because we were in a massive, you know, building in the city.
The 9 to 5
and just the
grind.
corporate thing, man. I remember the feeling of like walking out of there and literally feeling like, I don't know, bro, like
anxious.
sick. Yeah, anxious. Like something I've never felt before.
Regret maybe that you took that over your DJ.
Yeah, possibly that. Yeah, could be that. But just feeling this isn't me, man. This I can't do this shit, you know. And then as soon as I made the decision, the very next fucking day, like my life actually changed overnight from making that decision, because as soon as I did that, my day was completely taken up with making music, and things started happening so fucking quickly after that.
What was the big gig? When did it start to happen? So 2 months, 20 days, you quit.
Yeah,
music.
Quit. I actually started playing overseas before I really started getting big over here.
Really?
Yeah, because no one here was giving me a shot, man.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
well, I guess it's the EDM scene's way bigger in sort of like Eastern Europe and stuff like that than it is here, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to play this card, but like, to be honest, man, like no one really wanted me and my crew at their shows.
Really?
Yeah, like I had a fucking rough crew, bro. So like all a bunch of, you know, like wogs, fucking rough cunts. Like,
heavy,
yeah, like, you know, fuck. Like I wouldn't want my crew at that fucking gigs either. So like I just kept getting turned down. No one wanted my crew. They were definitely interested in having me there because of the music I was producing, but
they didn't
not
want
enough to
crew,
fucking not enough to get the crew.
That's
there.
hard. How did your boys support you during that time?
Oh, bro, my boys are the best supporters ever, man. They got into fucking scuffles in like they fucked me around a little bit in for a couple of shows, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, man.
Yeah. They got you back 100%, though.
1,000,000%, man. 1,000,000%. Like I remember the first big gig that I played in Sydney. I'll never forget it, man. Like literally I had maybe 30 of them.
Yeah.
Like all blokes, like at the front, just fucking going nuts. And like the promoters saw that and they're like, fuck. And like they were attracting other people.
Yeah.
So bro, like, yes, we got into a couple fights. A few, my booking agents like calling me the next day, what the fuck are you doing? But mate, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep.
So that was my story.
Good story.
So where was it overseas first?
So it was actually a tour overseas. So I got a promoter over there. He actually signed a couple of my records.
Did you get the promoter first? Like, how did it all actually happen?
Yeah.
So did you get picked up? Did someone listen to you and go, "Holy shit, who's this dude?" And did you have to find a manager first and then reach out that way? Or
at this stage, I had no manager. So at this stage, it was basically this guy in what's it called, Chicago. His name was Keith. He basically had
Urban.
Keith Urban. Nah, definitely
not his
Keith
music.
Not Keith Urban.
Chicago would chew him up and spit him out, bro.
Yeah. He had a label though, so he basically signed a couple of my tracks, and then we just kind of got talking, and then man, my tracks started getting played by some of these big artists out there because he had a few connections, got it into the right hands.
Because I saw it's like Calvin Harris, Hardwell, and Tiesto, Afrojack. Like, there's some big fucking names.
Big fucking names.
Big names, bro. Yeah, it was fucking sick, bro. It was really sick for that shit to happen because, like, as a kid, you're there and you're looking up to these guys. You're like, fuck, man. I wish like I wish this guy could play my track. You know, you're thinking right at the start.
Yeah.
And then when it actually happens, you're like, fucking hell, man, this is like manifestation almost, you know?
How did you hear about it the first time? Because do you have to do they go, hey, we want to use your track, do they sign off and so you're notified that way, or you just hear it and someone goes, oi, Calvin's
like
playing
that.
your song?
Exactly like that.
Holy shit.
That's ludicrous.
Do you remember where you were when you first said that?
Yeah. Afrojack, I was actually on the way to this shitty fucking job. Yeah, I was on the way.
No.
Like I was on the train on the way there. Yeah, it was like in the last kind of week or it was actually in the last like 3 or 4 weeks there. I'll never forget that actually.
What, he played it at the show?
Taking me back. No one's asked me
Nostalgic.
that question.
This is the why we do it, bro. Because when's the last time you spoke about yourself for 2 hours? Like it's a really cool experience.
Yeah.
So
I remember that. I'll never forget it. I was late to work that day because I was just like walking around. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I was like, man, this is sick. I was sending it to everyone. I'm like, I can't believe this shit.
Was it Afrojack's at a gig and he's playing your song?
So that particular one was on his podcast.
That's sick.
He supported on his podcast. But so that was
that's good exposure. Fuck.
Yeah, that was sick. But Afrojack was always like the idol for me, right?
Yeah.
I actually, when I went to Europe, I actually watched him at so many places around Europe. And this was me in the moment where like nothing was really happening for me at that time. I was just like idolizing these big dogs. The big moment for me was when he actually signed me to his label.
You got signed to Afrojack's label?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fucking insane, bro. That to me was like, you know what? As insane as it was looking back at it, at the time I celebrated for about 30 seconds. And then I was just like, okay, cool.
What's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
Like looking back at it now though, I'm very fucking proud of that because I know what that actually meant to me. But I was just too much of a
You're focused, bro.
I was like, bro, I can't stop. Like
This isn't it.
next?
This isn't the roof. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's where a lot of people stuff up as well. And what we're trying to encourage, everyone's just shooting for this goal and they get there. And it's exactly what you said. You get there and then they lose their mind because they don't know what to do what's next.
Yep.
And when you enjoy the journey, because it's all about the journey, that's where you get the stories. That's with the hard work, the pain, the fun, the partying, it's all where it happens. And when you get that goal, you're like, fuck yes, what's next?
I agree. Enjoy the journey, but I also agree about celebrating the wins as well, though, along the way. That makes
definitely.
the journey more fun too.
Yeah, man.
And then those milestones, like, all right, cool. We celebrated that. Let's get on to the next thing. Let's progress. Sure. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving up.
So sorry, man, go.
No, go for it.
So you got signed with Afrojack. How did that come about? Like, he played your track. You obviously like Calvin and all that did it as well. Like, do they just start sharing it? What one guy hears your beat and go, "Oh, that's sick," pulls it across.
Basically, man. Yeah. What happens is like it's actually a bit of BDMing now. Looking back at it, it's actually a bit of BDM. Like honestly, it's funny how much stuff actually applies to business. But man, what it was is like you finish the track. It's like, all right, how are you going to get it to people? Obviously, you put it out to the public, sure, but the real way to get exposure for it's social proof, right? It's like, okay, I've got this little in with this DJ here. It's not as big, but let me get it into his hands before I put it into the public. Let him play it, right? Then when everyone's listening to his set, let people be like, oh, what the fuck?
I heard that.
What's that track? That's not out yet. What's this unreleased track? So build up that hype, right? Then when you drop the track, you can say, this guy, and this guy have all played it. Right, it's social proof, man.
Correct.
It's just like anything that we're doing with our businesses now. So, but the way it happened with Afrojack was actually he was probably one of the last people to sign me. Like, I got signed to Tiesto's label Hardwell. Hardwell actually did a version of my track, which was sick, and that's like the biggest track that I've had. That one really.
What's that track called?
Rambo.
Rambo.
Yeah.
Great name.
Rambo. Yeah.
Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah, man. So that was a really good moment for me. I actually watched him play that one for the first time live at Ultra.
Ultra Music Festival.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was
in Miami.
Insane. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. He premiered it there. It was such a sick moment.
Did you end up meeting any of these guys?
Yeah. I met Hardwell when he was here in Sydney. Yeah, man. I met a bunch of them. I met Afrojack, but as a fan.
Yep.
I never met him after he signed me.
Yep.
I met him plenty of times as a fan though. Got a couple funny photos, bro. Full mullet, like fucking yeah.
And with these interactions with these high-profile DJs and acts, was there any of them that were influential moments for you? Were there any like you advice or you give them a track, listen to my CD kind of thing?
man, I think every single interaction was influential in some kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, even if it was just like being at Tomorrowland, watching the artist, like that to me, I was influenced by that.
Yep.
I was like, this is what I want to do, you know? But even, obviously meeting him face to face was unreal. Like being with Steve Aoki in Miami, or, you know, with Laid Back Luke and all of these artists, and like mingling with these people, man, it makes you feel like shit. I'm onto something here. Like I'm like things are moving. Like keep it going. Like it gives you that sort of motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
You know?
And
it was sick.
This DJing ride sounds ridiculous, and I'm sure a lot of, you know, young aspiring DJs probably want that kind of ride. But how long did this last for until you got to the next thing?
To the next stage, yeah. So probably about, I was probably like 20 when I finished uni. So probably about a good 6 years, 5-6 years.
Oh wow! So you were traveling around DJing for a while.
Yeah, man.
And were you making good money off of that kind of stuff?
Bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what I was
for a young kid, man. I was thankfully I put some money into property at the time, but I blew a fuckload of money, bro.
And
bought
as
a
you
GTR at the age of like R35 at the age of like 24.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were making some money, not just like.
Yeah, it was good, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't the most famous DJ in Australia or anything. Nothing, like nowhere near that or anything like that. Or the most well paid or anything like that.
Yeah.
But man, it was timing, bro. The style that I really sort of started doing, that EDM sort of style, there was a time where that really, really popped very, very hard. And it was just right place, right time. Like I had that style when it was popping off.
Yeah.
So it went really, really well for a very, you know, a long time. 5-6 years is a long time.
And it would have been a wicked journey too. Like some of the parties you would have went to would have been insane.
Yeah, I don't know if this podcast is
like PG.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not PG. Say anything you want on here. But when you say signing, what does that mean?
Okay, so signing means like you've produced the record, like you produced the track, and a lot of DJs have their own labels, and they will say, hey, I want to put this track on my label and basically promote it for you.
Cool.
In exchange, I'm going to take 50% of the royalties, and all of the writers and producers and things like that, they can split the other 50, right? So that's how a typical sort of just one record deal looks like,
And how did you like put your music out to the world? Because what years were you punching that out?
Yeah, so I probably put my first track out. I'd have to go back to actually look at it, but I'd probably say I probably put my first track out in like 2008 or 9, something like that. And what I was doing was I was just putting it out for free on SoundCloud, right? SoundCloud was kind of SoundCloud used to be the main spot. Like that's where all music was discovered before Spotify and stuff like that. So yeah, what I'd do is I was just putting it out on there. Then I started realizing like shit, without a label pushing this, it's getting a few plays and it's a few people are listening to it, but man, I need promotion. Like I need to get this into a label's hands, because labels have a following, right? They have, you know, people listening to what they're doing. But my music was shit, man. Like looking back at it, it was at that time, it wasn't good music. Like it was shit.
It was just on trend.
No, at that time I was starting, right?
Yeah.
At the time, I was starting for the first time. So labels were listening to it, but I wasn't getting any responses. So what I actually decided to do, and I think this is probably a thing that made me realize I'm a bit of an entrepreneur at heart, was I just started my own label.
Amazing.
I was like, well, if labels aren't going to sign my shit, I'm just going to start mine. And how am I going to build an audience? Well, I'm going to give other artists an opportunity to release their music. Yes, they might have 500, 1,000 followers, but that audience is now familiar with the label, and that's how that kind of audience grows and whatnot. Right?
Cross promote.
Because
if you're in a club and you got 1,000 people in a club, it's a lot of people listening to your music.
Exactly. And the other way that I grew as well was I started becoming like a collaboration king, man. I was just collaborating. So what I was doing was, like artists that I saw were making some noise. What I was doing was I was starting a track. I was getting the main concept down for a track. Wasn't finishing it, but I was just getting a really solid concept done for a track that was that I knew that this particular person would go for. Like it fit with what they were doing. And that was like my key to kind of unlock doors, unlock opportunities. And my thought process with that was same kind of thing. Like, okay, this guy's got 10,000 people following him. If we do a track together, I've got no one, right? If we do a track together, all of a sudden 10,000 people know about me now. So I'm just going to keep multiplying that. And that's honestly how I started getting a bit of a buzz and a bit of a name. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
So when did you retire from DJing?
26, you said.
And
DJing.
Yeah. What made that decision?
So
it sounds like you're doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was hard. I kind of what happened was I kind of lost my creativity a little bit, I feel. Because also another thing to throw into the mix is like I don't know any instruments. I don't know how to play any instruments at all. And obviously producing music, you're writing like melodies, you're writing all this kind of stuff. I was doing it by ear. So I feel like I kind of hit a sort of ceiling of musicality. Just became, I don't know, I just lost my spark basically with music. So naturally what I thought was, okay, well, I've been doing this. I was successful at it. And even still at that time, I was still playing shows in Korea, all over the place. But I was like, you know what? I want to sort of leave on a high. Like I want to leave on a good note and do my next thing. At the time, I thought, well, I was thinking very narrow-minded. I thought, well, I built up all these contacts. I have to do something still in music. So what I decided to do was start managing artists, right? Because obviously I had a lot of
connections,
a lot of these young artists that I was giving opportunities to. My label was building up a bit of momentum.
What was your label called?
Club Cartel Records.
Cool.
Yeah. So what was I saying?
Sorry,
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, you're building up all the young guys and started managing.
So this was at 26 when you stopped DJing, you started managing?
Yeah, exactly. I was actually doing both a little bit for a while. Like it wasn't like a day, like one day to the next I stopped.
Yep.
It was just like, it was like a gradual thing. And I just kind of started putting more time into management. And naturally, like you put out less music, you're talking about your stuff less and promoting yourself less, opportunities dry up, and that's just kind of how it happened, right? Anyway, so yeah, I was managing artists for about 2 years, and that was great. Like, had 2 or 3 really solid artists. We built up like really good momentum, got them signed to labels. What I was doing was just using my contacts that I'd built up to create opportunities for these guys. But what I guess realized was that as a manager of an artist, you're getting paid like 20% of what they get net.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Not gross.
Right? And when there's 2 young artists that are trying to build up from the ground up, that's 20% of nothing. In fact, I was pouring my money into them to get them opportunities and get their tracks mastered professionally and get this artwork done for them and run a few ads for them and things like that. So basically for 2 years, I was just going backwards, man. Even though we're getting shit done, we're touring and, you know, my artists were in the studio with Timberland and all this kind of shit. Financially, it wasn't making sense. But one thing that I didn't know was happening at the time was I was learning marketing. I was learning marketing and I was learning how to like basically run a business properly, like full on, right? Do contracts, look at contracts, negotiate things. Negotiate deals at shows for these guys, because I was never doing that for myself. I had a booking agent doing that for me.
Okay.
But now the shoe was on the other foot.
You had to learn, yeah.
Yeah, and these guys were hustling me and trying to hustle the price down for these artists, and I was like, you know, coming back. So like it was all of that shit was happening. I didn't really realize it. And I was running ads.
Okay.
I was always running ads for myself, but what ended up happening was we signed one of our artists to Warner, which is a
big boy,
one of the big labels, right?
Big 4, big 3.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So basically, we walked in. You know, they got this massive office, an entire marketing department.
This in the US or in Australia?
In Australia.
Yeah.
Entire marketing floor of marketers. Anyway, this kid gets signed. He gets a marketing budget, you know, assigned to his name for them to spend on promoting him. And man, I could just never get like a solid answer on like, hey, where's this kid's money going? Like, what are you guys spending his money on? What are you doing with this? Like, because we're not seeing shit. you know?
Yeah.
And no one could give me a good answer. Everything was fucked. Like, everything was wrong. They were just doing things wrong. So I was like, fuck, man, there's got to be a better solution. Like, there has to be a better way. And I think this is how all businesses are really born, like something like this, you know? There's got to be a better way of doing this.
Exactly how I started Bearded Chap.
Exactly, man. Yeah, so...
so that's that bridge from management to marketing.
Yeah, and then kind of at the same time, like, because people had seen what I was doing with the artists, they're like, hey, and these are like other businesses in my network. They're like, hey, I see what you're doing with these kids, man. Like, do you mind, like, my niece is doing our ads at the moment. Do you mind helping her out? And so I was like, okay, interesting. Businesses now are my market. It's not just the 20, 30 good clubs in Australia that are the people who I can sell my product to. Okay, all of a sudden there's all these businesses popping up left, right, and center who I could help, and in exchange, you know, get money from that. So, man, as soon as I kind of had that little light bulb moment, it was all in, bro.
And were you doing Facebook marketing or the old school like magazines, posters, billboards, that type of stuff?
Never did any of that. Yeah, it was
all online marketing.
Yeah, all digital. Yeah, I've never done anything like that before.
So you made that transition to marketing now, and like, did you shut your label down? How did you wrap that up? Label, sell it or
no? Label's still there, man.
Yeah.
Tracks are still kind of getting played, everything like that. It's still there, man, and I'll leave it there. There's nothing. Yeah,
amazing.
It's not worth.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting royalties on this stuff forever, exactly. Essentially.
And most of my music was on there as well. Like, after a certain point, like when my career started sort of going this way, I just started releasing all my own music on my label, and also throughout my career. Every now and then, when I just wanted to get something out and I didn't want to wait for a label like 6 months to fit in their schedule, I'd put something out on my label just to keep that momentum going, right, and keep tracks coming out. So, yeah, my music's there, man. It's going to live there, and it'll stay there forever. And
when did you decide? Or first of all, how did you learn how to market? Because I know a lot of people, they just get freaked out about Facebook, Instagram, Google. How did you learn that?
Yeah, I was freaked out by it too, man. I'll never forget. Like, obviously, all of the DJs that were kind of in the network, we all knew that we had to run ads. Every time we had a release, we had to boost posts, right? Back then it was boosting. Back then, boosting was the thing, man. Like, that was so we all knew we had to allocate a bit of budget to do that. But all of us were musicians and we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. So there was a couple of people in the scene that knew kind of what they were doing, and, you know, you'd pay them $100 and they'd do your release for you. So I basically learnt off that. I learnt by paying someone and then just watching how he set it all up. I actually asked him, like, hey, I'm still going to pay you, but I just want to learn. It's like, show me this shit. And yeah, man, it started like that. But what happened was, when I started the agency, I invested heavily into a course. It was like 12 grand at the time. It was a big, big course. There was plenty of like Ty Lopez courses and all these for like $500. But this one was 12K, and I had like 20K to my name. And I'm like, you know what? This is the course I'm going to do, because I'm going to want to get this money back.
Yep. Like,
I don't have much money to my name. So if I drop this 12K, I'm going to make it work. Like, it's going to be enough motivation to fuel me and make this thing work. So,
and it was worth it.
The course was great, man.
Yeah, who was that with?
It was great. It was with Kat Howell. Kat Howell. She's a lady from I think New Zealand or something like that. Yeah, it was a good course. Very good course.
Would you recommend doing your research on these courses before spending your money on them as well? Or do you think that they all sort of generally tell you the same thing? Do you think that you can sort of make your own out of these courses, or would you recommend going to one of these sort of Kat Howell courses as well?
I'll be honest, man. I reckon all of the information in the course you could get for free.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, my friend.
YouTube. I think it was nothing like magic about the course or anything like that.
7 secret herbs and spices.
Yeah. No, nothing like that. But for me, it was the money, man. For me, it was the money that made me, like, I've always been someone who executes, but when you got your balls on the line.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It gives you that, I don't know, it gave me that little fuel to, like, fuck, man. Like, in my head, I'm like, I've got 3-4 months of runway left. Like, this has to fucking work.
Yep.
You know? So, man, I started that course. I bought the course New Year's Eve. I started New Year's Day, like 2019.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is just another example of like in how important investing in yourself is, because a lot of people don't do it. And we spoke about this with one of Hugh Grover, who came on in sales, because that's my game.
Yep.
And literally that is the least amount of training, or salespeople have the least amount of training after they do their initial course ever. Yep. And it's always constantly evolving and always constantly growing on this. Do you still, even went back to when you were a DJ, were you like, I suppose,
practicing your trade, learning more, getting more skills, upskilling?
Every fucking day, man.
Yep.
Like one thing that I did, and one thing that I, like a couple of the younger guys in my network that are, you know, DJs as well, I just tell them, like, get into the studio with anyone. Like, don't have an ego. Get in with absolutely anyone, bigger than you, smaller than you, same size as you, girl, boy, whatever. Singer, like someone, a musician, guitarist, whatever. Just get in the studio with everyone that you possibly can, because on the music side, I feel like, you can probably do a course. I never did a course for music, but where I learnt everything was watching other people produce or collaborating. Right? Because there's shit that you know, and there's ways of doing things, you know, you do it a certain way, and then you sit in the studio with someone else, they do it a completely different way, and it opens up your mind, man.
Yeah.
So, I think you always have to sharpen the saw.
So how does the process of digital marketing work for a client, or just for your team in particular?
Well, explain your business though, because
Defiant Digital.
Jamie, when did you launch Defiant?
2019.
Yeah, so Defiant Digital, tell us your spiel on that.
Cool. So Defiant Digital, basically what we are is a creative performance agency. So one thing that I noticed around that time when I was working with the labels is that the agency world was kind of fragmented. There was agencies that did performance marketing, they ran all the ads, right? They actually spent the money on the platforms, ran the ads.
They're the buyers.
Media buyers. And then there's agencies that would do all the creative stuff. They do the branding, they do the content, they do all of that. There's no one doing both, right? There wasn't, or not very well anyway.
And this was 2019?
2019, yep.
The end of it?
So I started the course New Year's Day, and we had our first client in like May or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a pretty quick turnaround,
yeah.
Because I read you grew it very fast, like 0 to like over 2 mil in like a couple of months.
In a year. Within the first year, yeah.
0 to 2 mil in the first year, from May to May.
Yeah. No, not from May to May. No, within our first 12 months, like start of the year to end of the year.
Yeah. So just before pandemic kicked in.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
I remember that clearly.
Sorry, continue with the spiel. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, no, it was solid growth, man. So what happened was, basically I realized that there was that gap in the market, and we didn't start off like that. We didn't start off as a creative performance agency because I didn't have the money to. I couldn't hire media buyers and creative people. It was me. It was me doing shit on Canva.
How did you start? Because I read they had
on Canva.
You met up with one of your mates that you knew from school. And kicked that off.
He was actually a guy from the music scene. So like he was actually a promoter back in the day when I was doing music, and he was like, you know, booking me at the shows. He was like, when I would rock up to the shows, he'd have our rider, so like all of the alcohol and stuff, and it's just like a roadman type thing, you know, or promoter or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And yeah, basically we started like I started Defiant. In the start, and what happened was around May or around that time, I built the website. I did everything. I was just a one-man band. Launched the website, and basically within the first hour, I met my business partner at the time, and then I met our first employee. Within the first hour of like posting it on Facebook, saying this is what I'm doing, both of them hit me up and said, "Let's like, can we meet? Can we hang out? Like, tell me about what you're doing." Blah blah blah.
Amazing.
So basically that's how it happened, man. And we started working with a couple of clients.
How did you get these clients? Because this is the real interesting thing. Because you're marketing, and so there's a ton of like every day 10 emails. Do you want to increase your sales by 400%? I'm like, fuck off. Like everyone's doing it, mate. Or sending me a photo with a piece of like a paper with my name or whatever on it. I'm like, that worked really good 2 years ago. The first time I saw it. But how did you go and get your first customer?
So what I did was that first few months from like January to May, I was doing free work for people in my network. So, you know, there was a couple of brands that we had sort of, you know, through my network that I built up through music, and they were pretty solid brands, right? Like they were well known, especially in Sydney. And I was just doing free work. I'm like, hey, don't pay me. I'm gonna come in, right? I'm gonna do this for you. All I want in return is to be able to say that I've worked for you. I just want your logo, or give me a testimonial. That's all. And they're like, yeah, sure. I'll come in. Went in, did what I had to do, got results. I wouldn't put something up if I didn't get results.
Yeah.
Right. And man, that was I didn't start approaching anyone else until I knew I could get results. Once I had results, I just used that to leverage. I leveraged those results, and I just started kicking down doors, not opening doors, kicking down. Like literally like going, hey, I saw your business, like literally calling people up and saying, hey, I see what you're doing and I like what you're doing, but this is how you can be doing it better. Let me come into your shop and let me show you exactly how I can do this for you. No charge, no obligation. You don't have to pay me anything. If you like it, we'll go ahead with it. And that's how I started, man.
I think
that's awesome.
The biggest thing there, and this is what I tell when I go speak to kids at or do any speaking events, it's literally, do you want to get a job?
Yeah.
If you don't want to be an entrepreneur or start a business, do you want to get a job? Yeah. Go to the brand that you love the most, that you buy the shoes every day, whatever, and go, I want to work for you for free for 2 weeks. Yep. Even if you're not on a job, I'm sure you've got 2 weeks of holiday leave or sick leave. Fucking work your ass out and get results.
100%.
And I guarantee you will walk away with a job from that.
Yep.
Because
definitely,
especially if you have no experience or no track record.
Man, when you start, like all you have is time, right? That's all you have. Like time is your, I guess,
trading labor for pay.
Exactly. Yeah. Like as you start getting more successful, you get less time, so you got to spend money to hire people so that you
leverage other people's time.
Leverage time. So that's kind of how that works. So at the start, man, that is the activity that you should be doing, is hustling. Like get out there, put yourself out there, do shit for free, get work. Like never do it for free. Always make sure that there's, you know, if you get a result, then you can talk about that result. In the agency space anyway, I'm talking about. Probably applies to so many other things.
It does.
Referral.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I do a good job, can you refer me to some of your mates who own businesses? Because that's probably going to be likely. Or if I do a good job, write a review. You're getting something out of it still, and the experience.
Definitely applicable in other industries. When I started modeling in Adelaide, I was doing shoots for free all the time, just because I wanted content for my social media platform, and I wanted to say that I've worked with these businesses. Because once people see more of it, they go, "Oh, this guy's doing this. Like, let's get him on. And then people were approaching me.
Yep.
I wasn't really approaching people, but they were just saying, "Hey, you know, we're doing this shoot. You know, we don't really have money to pay." And I was like, "I don't want money. I want product. Just give me the photos afterwards."
100%, man.
See you later. So that's
such
awesome,
a good
man.
way of getting started.
Unbelievable way of getting started.
Yeah.
And so how does effective marketing drive revenue then? Obviously it's different in different industries, but what are the kind of key indicators there?
How does it drive revenue? I think attention is revenue. Like attention is the currency, man.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter how good, you know, we're at the Bearded Chap now. It doesn't matter how good your products are, right? You can have the best deodorant in the world, which you guys do have. But if
no one knows about you.
Yeah, if you can't stop that scroll, like people are scrolling through 1,000,000 miles an hour. If you can't stop that scroll and actually get someone to pay attention, it doesn't matter. So that's, in my opinion, the key role of marketing is grabbing that attention first, because it all starts there. And then, of course, making it desirable enough for people to want to click and check it out and see what's going on.
Yep. When you launched Defiant on, you said that you had those people reaching out to you. Like, when did you start hiring your first employee? Like you said, that was one of them was your very first employee.
Yeah.
And how did you go about scaling your business? Because service businesses, wages are the biggest cost in most businesses, pretty much.
Yeah,
you need an ROI to pay those people.
In a startup, it was before COVID, just before.
Yep.
In a startup, you want as much capital going into acquiring new customers, and in the business you're in, you got labor, which is so expensive because you've got
100%
graphic designers, because you were doing content as well as the buying. So how did you break up those roles, and how did you manage to scale?
So we started off with interns, right? We didn't have money to offer, man. We just simply didn't have it. But what we had was a vision that 3 interns at the time were on board with. They loved what we were trying to do. They wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to be a part of something. And they was very young, like not one bit of experience previously.
How did you find your interns, or what was your process of getting there? Because this is the stuff that no one talks about.
Yeah, this is the shit behind closed doors, man, that no one sees. Yeah, so basically what it was, like I said, first two came from the business partner, and first employee came from me posting personally on my Facebook. A lot of people saying, wow, you left music, blah, blah, whatever. Anyway, they got in touch. There was a lot of sort of engagement on it. A lot of people wishing me well, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there was a lot of people saying, who the fuck's this guy think he is as well. But that was cool. Met them there. And then the intern, he started with us as an intern, Blake. And basically, he was interning with us for a fair few months, man. But I was giving him a lot of opportunity, and then it started becoming, okay, now I'm going to start paying you for each client that you work on. And he was still a Sparky at the time.
So he was being a Sparky and doing digital marketing as well. Wow.
Yeah. And studying, or was this pure work experience?
No, he was a Spark. He was a proper tradesman.
Yeah,
proper tradesman, but just wanted to get out of that. And he loved marketing. He dabbled in it himself a little bit. I think he just saw an opportunity to join someone who was also in the music scene that was trying to do it. Anyway, that's how we met him, and that's how that kicked off. But then what happened was we put out basically on social, just like, hey, we're looking for more interns, like more so in the creative side. Because this is when we really started realizing that, we don't want to just do the media buying thing. We also want to have some creative people in here and build that part of the business. So then we found our next two interns just through social media. And they came on board, did a 3-month internship. And after that, on the same day, we gave all three of them jobs.
Amazing.
Because, what happened was, like 3 months later, we'd started running ads. As soon as we started running ads, that's what, like, things just went, like, literally haywire. It went freaking insane.
Yep.
And running ads for Defiant itself,
Because up until that point, we weren't running ads. Up until that point, it was, like, straight up
upskilling,
scrappy, just, upskilling. But in terms of getting sales, it was just BDMing, man. It was just, like, hustling, just, like...
real sales.
Yeah, man. DMing, like, Facebook, calling up, fucking rocking up, like... It was all of that stuff. Yeah. It was meetings. I remember there was one phase in our early days when, like, seriously, I was just living at Bondi. Like, we actually, there's a cafe in Bondi. We're just sitting there, and, like, one person would come in. We'd have a meeting. They'd leave. Then we had the next one come in. Like, we were just meeting with everyone, man. So many people wasted our time. But what was great about that was it also allowed us to kind of, like, get our delivery. Like, who are we? Like, what are the objections that we're going to get?
Yeah. It's role playing, but in real life.
Exactly, man. So that was another really good thing that we did at the start. Just meet with everyone, and just try sell them something, like whatever it was. It was funny because, like, they'd ask, "Oh, can you do this?" Yeah, we can do that. Had never done it before, but the thing is, when we sold it to them, we then worked out, like, we got the money, and then we worked out how to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So we got the money, then we hired a contractor. We'd make no money off it. But we just learned the process. We'd learn how this person with experience would deliver it, and then reverse engineer it.
That's awesome.
I think Richard Branson said, say yes to everything and work the rest out.
Exactly.
So that's obviously exactly digital marketing is massive for any business of any scale or metric. And lots of I think every business needs digital marketing. But what do you think people often neglect when finding the right digital marketer for their business?
That's a really good question, man. I would say a lot of people don't probably understand the importance that creative actually plays. They think, it's just pretty pictures and things like that. They don't realize how important it is in that, like, stopping the scroll. Like, I always try to explain it to people like that. Like, if your ads is too easy to ignore, then your business is easy to ignore. If people can just scroll straight past you, doesn't matter how good your media agency is with the targeting and stuff that they've done, it seriously doesn't matter. Like, I'd rather have great creatives and a very basic targeting setup and things like that, which is actually what works well, funnily enough. So I think that's what a lot of people overlook. They overlook the importance of the creative element in their marketing agency. So that's the number one question I'd be asking any agency before you work with them.
Yep.
Show me your creative work and show me your process.
So when you say stopping the scroll, that's obviously on your Facebook and Instagram ads and whatnot. Do you think there's any, again, key indicators to enhance people to look at your ad in particular? Or
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I mean,
it depends on the product, obviously, as well that you're marketing.
Depends on the product, but look, you gotta give people a reason to. You gotta answer the question, "What's in it for me?"
Yep, solve
right?
a problem.
That's the number one. That's the number one thing that you have to answer. So, for example, with the bearded chap, like one of the pain points that we've actually found is that people really hate putting aluminium onto their body. Like they're very
with antiperspirants.
Yeah, with antiperspirants. Like they're very aware of that, and they're aware of it, but they probably just haven't done anything about it.
Yep.
Because there's been no solution at the supermarket.
And it's easier to go to the supermarket and buy Rexona or something like that.
So if we were just to say best deodorant ever, no one would give a
why.
fuck. Yeah. If we were to say don't put this shit on your body, like not in those words, obviously, but
you should.
Like. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you've now given people like, okay, what's in it for me is okay, a healthier alternative, like a better way of doing this thing that I've been doing since a kid.
Yep.
So, always just what's in it for them. If you can answer that question, you'll be effective.
Yep. That's a pretty good point, actually.
We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
On those things, and I suppose breaking down that testing, measuring, because you can think a piece of content's going to be a banger.
Yep.
And you post it up and you test 5 of them and that's the worst performing one, and something that like one word might change the difference.
Exactly.
When you are working with a customer and so when a customer's trying to find a digital agency, at what time of the business are they looking, at what part of their business journey are they actually looking for it? Because there's a big advantage of having an agency because you've got a whole team working across the board versus internal with trying to hire your own people.
Mm-hmm.
When would someone start to look for
that outsource?
Yeah, look, that's a good question, and there are different sizes and different tiers of agencies as well. Is what I'll say. Like, there was a point in time where we're charging basically nothing and also offering basically nothing. Like we're just doing the bare essentials. So yeah, that's. You got to choose the right kind of agency for where you're at. Like basically right now, as it stands today, like we don't really work with with brands that, can't produce raw content to give our team to chop it up and put it in ads, because that's a very critical part. Also, brands that don't understand or can't commit to like updating their site a lot and have a developer on, like, so you got to have a few of these kind of key criteria in place. You got to be profitable. You've got to be. You got to be spending when you come to us at least like 10 to 15K a month already, like something around there. If you're doing that, it means you've somewhat found product market fit. That's probably the thing.
Yep.
So product market fit, if you've found that, an agency can really help you throw fuel onto the fire. An agency is probably not going to be the best to get you to that point though. Like you'll probably bleed a little bit too much.
Is there a percentage of revenue? Because everyone throws around different numbers in regards to marketing versus your revenue. Is there a percentage of your sales revenue that is the golden rule that you
allocate to marketing?
Yeah.
Man, I don't think there's a golden rule. That completely depends on your business metrics, your profitability, how aggressive you want to go.
Consumer demand and stuff like that as well.
Everything, man. Yeah, there's definitely no golden number.
Because I heard 10% thrown around all the time, but I know. I just want to hear from someone who's in that marketing space what. Yeah. If you found one.
Yeah, look, 10% is probably like just thinking about our clients and sort of how they break it down. Probably around that 10 to 20, depending on the product.
Yep.
But then you got some clients that are really advanced. Like some of the clients who are spending, $500K a month on ads. They don't even care about being profitable, like on the front end, right?
You say $500K a month on ads?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So they don't even. So basically, like they couldn't care less if they lost money on the first sale, because their back end is so healthy that they know, okay, I might lose money on this initial sale. My ROAS might be 0.8. Right, return on ad spend. That doesn't matter though, because I've acquired that customer and they're going to come back to me 5 times in the next 12 months, right? And what they've done there is they've captured the market. So they're taking away market share from other people in that, so other smaller brands. What happens is because they can go so aggressive on their ads, smaller brands, they can't go as aggressive. They need a 1.5 ROAS or they need a 2 ROAS Otherwise, they're not profitable. So what happens is they actually start turning off their ads. And all of a sudden, it's like a blue ocean.
So you're basically smothering the market for these little businesses to not then overtake you in the big fish.
You basically bully them out.
Yeah.
That's like a strategy for sure.
Doggy dog well, that's good.
I like to think of it as buying a customer.
Yep.
Because if you know the LTV, lifetime customer value, and they're worth $500 to you, but it costs you even $50 to acquire that customer, you're not going to make money on the first time, but after that, and again, it all depends on cash flow and all the different other situations as well.
That's why I said before, like it really dependent on the size of the business, like where the business is at, based on like how aggressive you want to go with it. But yeah, I like to look at it, like you said, buying a customer and creating an audience that you can mine for life.
I remember you saying earlier, Jamie, when you first started, you were going to businesses saying, this is what I can do for you. I don't want any payment. Just let me set up work with you. What are some of the bigger businesses that you've worked with now that you can say, like, these are a big client that I've worked with? Yeah,
so man, there's heaps. There's like High Pages. There's Red Bull, Milky Lane. We did a lot of really, really good work for. Man, there's been a stack of brands.
Us,
the Bitter Chap.
Is there any business that you strive to work for or work with?
Yeah, what's a nugget for you? Like a win?
Man, I'm working on something pretty cool at the moment for. It's for Manchester City.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, so that I'm a big, anyone that knows me, man, will know I'm a very big fan of soccer, football, and yeah, Man City is like a dream client of mine. So again, like still to this day, man, we've had our success, but the way I'm gonna bust that door down, we actually made an ad for them, right? Like a prospecting ad.
Amazing.
Awesome. And I'm just gonna my process. I'm actually gonna film the whole thing, right? Because I wanna show people that this is like, if there's no door there for you, create the door, then fucking kick the door down and just get in,
awesome,
right? But basically the way I'm gonna do it is I've got this ad now. My team put together a really fucking sick ad.
Yep.
Just gonna go to their marketing managers, their marketing team on LinkedIn, even some of the junior marketers there, right? And send them this ad. I know that they're trying to push this particular new jersey that they've just released, right? It's a third kit. They're really trying to push it. So I saw that opportunity there. We created an ad for that. Even these like junior kids at Man City, like junior marketing manager or something like that, even if the big dogs don't respond to me, I know that the junior might. And the junior...
Because they want to uncover the next thing too, that is going to make them look good.
Correct.
Yeah.
The junior will want to take to their boss, hey, look at what I... Look what I got sorted for you guys.
Yep.
For free, right? So things like that, man. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. I know we're going to get the deal.
Fucking oath.
I don't know how.
So you're in
we'll
talk.
Work it out.
You haven't sent it yet?
No.
Oh, awesome.
We just finished the ad yesterday. I'll show you guys later.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And
that's exciting.
Another thing with that is, so we're basically doing a bit of a refresh of the brand at the moment. But I actually thought, well, let's make a series out of this. Let's call it If We Made It series. And basically what this is, man, is I'm just selecting all sorts of brands that we really want to work with and getting like an image, like just a basic image of their product on white and turning it into a motion graphics ad. And
if you made their ad.
If we made it, this is what it would look like. Tagging them in. Like awesome. This is going to be like a strategy for us to really attract those brands. So, Gymshark, Culture Kings. What else we got?
Queensland local family business, aren't they? Queensland Culture Kings.
They sold out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they sold out.
But basically,
like 700 million or something like that, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's going to be a strategy of ours to really attract those kind of brands, man.
That's awesome,
so it's still that kind of like BDMing is still happening.
It's that lead gen, but doing it in a creative way that puts you in a way better place than all of your competitors, because they're not thinking either that big, or they're not thinking apart from those shitty emails that come through.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy.
Got to stand out.
LinkedIn, hey man, nice to connect.
Yeah.
Similar
just wanted to connect.
Yeah, I saw you're doing this right. Like, fuck that. I'd rather say, send the creative first.
I've made this for you.
I made this for you, man. Like, what do you think of this? Would love to, understand what some of your priorities are next, and we can, work on that together. So
that's awesome.
But before that, like, just looking at their ads and seeing where the opportunity is in the first place. I've already made deals like this before, but now I just want to kind of make it a public thing and show people how to do it.
Yeah. What's the best platform to market on at the moment? Obviously, you've got Facebook, Instagram,
TikTok's
Yeah.
fucking
are
rolling.
you doing TikTok stuff as well?
Yeah, we are doing TikTok, man. Look, TikTok is good and it's going to be fucking huge.
Yep.
But right now, I'll be honest, the channels that are still driving the most revenue are Facebook, Instagram, and Google.
Yep. Getting those clicks.
TikTok's gonna start getting up there for sure.
What's holding that TikTok back at the moment? Because user-wise, it's the fastest growing and it's the most consumed out of all three now. And everyone thinks TikTok's for tweens, but literally the biggest consumers are 24 to 37 at the moment.
Was it you that told me about that lolly company that was going under? There was like a hard lolly company that was going under. They're like, fuck
in
it.
Sydney during pandemic.
And that fuck it, we'll make some TikToks. And then they made the most money ever in like a month or 2 months. Or something like that.
Yeah, one of their young interns or employees was like, I'm going to film you making the hard-boiled lollies. And it went viral, and within, I think it was like a month, they made $1 million.
That's crazy.
And it went all over the world.
I think nothing's holding it back as a platform. I think as an ads platform, one thing that is holding it back to a certain extent at the moment is just people don't want to get off it, bro.
Yeah.
They're in this loop. They're just like watching, and they're just like, it's such an engaging platform.
True.
That people just don't want to, they want to keep going. Like as soon as they realize it's an ad, they're just, next.
Yeah.
It's that engaging. That's what I believe anyway. I don't know.
That's a really good way to look at it, actually.
But I think, what comes with that is smart marketing, like knowing how to weave your message in there in a way that hooks people in. They don't even realize they're watching an ad. And by the end of it, because you've only got a very short window too. So
what is that window? What have you found?
I was going to say, you need to catch them within like the 3 seconds. First 0.5 of a second.
Put it this way. Look at it as a funnel. The most important fucking part of it is the first second to 2 seconds.
Yep.
Because if they don't like what they're seeing, it's one little swipe away, man, to ignore you. So that's the most important part. The next part is where you're actually sort of, you gotta gain their interest. You got to show them, all right, so you've caught my attention. How are you going to get me interested? Okay. And then how are you going to build enough desire for me to then take action?
Why do I need this?
It's actually the AIDA. It's actually a framework, right?
Yeah.
AIDA. But yeah, it's like a little funnel in the creatives, but all parts are equally as important.
Do you want to break down that framework?
Yeah. Is there a particular sales process that you guys follow with that kind of thing? The AIDA thing obviously is a sales process. Is that what you guys follow? Or?
AIDA's like a process for creating, a great piece of advertising.
Yeah.
Like,
do you want to break that down? Because I'm sure a lot of listeners won't even know what that is.
Cool. So AIDA is nothing new. It's actually very old. It comes from,
50s and 60s.
The Ogilvies. Yeah. The guys that were writing like, newspaper ads and all those kind of print things back in the day. Basically what it is AIDA. And what it stands for is attention, interest, desire, and action. Okay? They're the 4 kind of parts of an ad that you really need to treat very carefully or put a lot of focus on those areas. So obviously first, attention, as we've been saying multiple times in this chat, it's like if you can't get attention, doesn't matter what you're trying to say, no one gives a shit, they're going to scroll past. Once you've got their attention, like I said before, how do you build that interest? Like how do you keep them interested? How do you get them to stay watching? How do you, like that first 3 seconds needs to sell the next 3 seconds, needs to sell the next 3 seconds type thing. So that's interest. And then desire is basically, in our terms today in digital marketing, it's like outbound click-through rate. So like how good was this ad at getting someone to actually click? Were you able to build enough desire for them to click, or did they just watch it, liked it, were a bit interested, but just scrolled past? The final A is action. So action is, did they take action? Did they sign up? Did they purchase? Did they, take action? So
whatever the ad was intended for. Yeah,
exactly. So basically the way we kind of use that is we like I said before, like apply metrics to each of those 4 points, and we measure that. So for example, we measure attention. You can measure how good your ad was with attention by seeing like how many people stopped to watch 3 seconds. That's a metric that we live and breathe at the agency.
Yep.
Right. And then what's really cool, I know I'm going down the rabbit hole here a bit.
No, but this is what listeners want to hear, because this was about marketing, this podcast.
Yeah, okay,
so
yeah. All right.
It's not the rabbit hole. We love this shit, bro.
All right, see, man. So yeah, basically the really cool thing about that is when you start assessing every ad with those 4 metrics, okay, you start to notice patterns. And I like to tell my team, like, look at it as Lego. Okay, look at these 4 pieces as Lego pieces of an ad. So you can look at 100 ads. You can say, wow, ad number 22 had a crazy hook rate, like attention, like it was really great at getting attention, but it wasn't too good at getting desire. So the start, like the click, it wasn't too good at getting the click. However, ad number 45, holy fuck, people are clicking that one like no tomorrow. Okay, let's start piecing these. So obviously this one's got a really good start. This one's got a good message in it. Let's start piecing these together and creating like almost a winning formula for an ad. So that's, man, when I sort of had that.
It's that combination to the lock.
Yeah. When I had that sort of light bulb moment, and I'll never forget it, went into the team, got everyone in the boardroom. I'm like, this is how we're fucking looking at creative now. And everyone was just like, fuck, that makes so much sense. Like, great. Like they knew exactly what to do from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like, it's crazy though. You apply those old age, sort of methods to digital, like everything from these old goats, like they're the people that you should study. Fuck these gurus and shit.
Yeah. Like some of the most successful ads to this day are the infomercials that were written in the 1920s, 1940s, 1950s when it was the golden age.
Sore?
Yeah, like they're incredible because you literally felt like you're reading an article.
Yeah. Man, I brought with me, I've read this before, but I brought it on this trip, Breakthrough Advertising.
Yeah.
That is a must read. Anyone listening who is doing marketing, advertising, running a business,
Breakthrough
you
Advertising.
have to read Breakthrough Advertising.
That's going on my list.
Is there
Chuck it on the list, bro.
Yeah.
Is there any common objections that you guys face in the digital marketing scene? That
of course.
Yeah.
Of course, man.
What are some of those that you guys get thrown with often?
Number one is price.
Yep.
Especially lately, like our prices have really, they've gone up, man, because we're attracting A players in the agency.
Yep.
So we've gone from obviously a small agency to, knowing a bit, working with, like having a team of interns that we then trained up. Now we have no interns. We have only senior people in every position.
Yep.
So yeah, basically that's the number one thing has been people look at the price and they're like, oh, I can get it cheaper from this guy over here. And
they're going to get the same outcome.
Well, that's what they think. They think they're going to get the same outcome by going for someone, half the price. My kind of answer to that objection is, if you want cheap for your business, go with cheap. If you want the best, this is the price.
Yep.
Right? And what I always see is that it always works out being more expensive in the long run when you go with cheap.
Yep.
You got to do it 3 times over.
Yep.
So, it's funny how many people actually circle back and say, oh, I just had a guy the other day. He's been through 3 agencies since we kind of were negotiating at the time. And he's come back and he says, man, I just can't find anyone that does the creative the way you guys do it. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. And if he had just gone with us from the start, he would have saved so much cash.
Yep.
And not fucked his business as well. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's one.
Onto the business side, again, of the agency, you're just speaking about your team, and because you grew your team to like 25 people at one stage.
Yeah. At one stage it was 25. Yeah.
Yeah. At the peak of pandemic as well.
Yeah.
So it sounded like you started off in an office and then you went remote from there.
Yeah. So we started off in it was like a little warehouse, man. It was nowhere near as good as this, man. It was like a little dingy warehouse.
So did we.
Yeah. It was actually an e-commerce shipping facility. And it had like a warehouse in there where people would like put their stock and like store their stock and it was like a 3PL.
Yeah.
But
how good?
Yeah, we were like, you know what, fuck it, man. It's full of e-commerce brands. So yeah, it's not the best looking like office, but we'll make it work because we're putting ourselves in a room full of 50 other e-commerce brands that are all there.
Potential clients as well.
It was a shit office, but man, it was freezing. It was fucking, it was fucked. But anyway,
it's motivation to get you out of there, hey?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. So we're only there for like 4 months or so. And then we moved to, like a shared, like a co-working space. But yeah, man, COVID just kept rocking us, man. Like we'd get the camp together, we'd get the team together in the office. We'd have a good, couple of months there. COVID. Like, fuck, everyone's got to work from home. Then do it again, COVID. Like as everyone got, everyone got rocked with it. And then what happened was when things started opening up, like a lot of people were feeling a bit uncomfortable about coming into the office, catching trains. And we're just like, you know what, man, we're at a point now. And at this time, we were starting to get a bit more experience in the team. I sort of took the approach of, I trust these people. Like, I don't need to look them and stare them in the eye to know that they're working. I trust them enough for them to create a working style and environment that allows them to produce the best work. So it became more about output rather than input.
Yep.
So yeah, and it's worked really well for us.
If they're producing the results, that's
Correct.
that's the main thing, isn't it? That's why you're in business.
And how did you manage like the cadence of the business? Because like when it's on in an office, everyone's on. There's that energy around the room that just fucking's heaving.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different. Adapting that, how have you managed that as a business?
That's tricky, man. That one is very, very tricky. To be honest with you, I'm still trying to really crack the code on that one. But for instance, like I'm here in Queensland today, catching up with our Queensland team. Like we flew them down 2 weeks ago to Sydney to have like a team event, went go-karting and stuff like that.
It's awesome.
Like you got to do stuff like that, man.
Create culture.
It's got to be done. Yeah, we do like a kick-off on Mondays with the whole team. Then we do on Fridays wrap-up of the week, share our wins, share our results, share creatives that we highlight. I share updates on where we're going as an agency. That's the only real way when you're remote. I don't know. That's the way I've been doing it so far, and still learning, man. Still trying to learn what the best way is.
Yeah, it's been a big shift. Because you started the agency, you rolled into COVID, and at the same time, e-commerce went fucking nuts. It was really the first time that Australia really embraced e-commerce properly, because before then we were do all our research online and then we'd roll in store and buy. Yep. But this is when it was the test of the world logistics wise for delivery. All businesses that had not made that move yet, which there was a fuck ton of, had to go across. Yep. And all marketing agencies did pretty well during that period of time because of the rush in.
Absolutely.
But how did you guys adapt to that? Because you had to scale very fast because you were a very new business.
Yeah, man. So it was actually funny because at that time when COVID hit, a lot of our clients were from kind of the hospo scene. Like we did have a few e-commerce clients, but a lot of them were hospo or, service-based businesses at that time. Obviously because of our networks, in the music scene and things like that. So basically overnight we lost, I'd say 75% of our clients.
Wow.
And that was quite fucking...
Did you shit yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, to be honest, man, I did. But then, like, pretty quickly, I'm like, hang on a second. There's opportunity no matter what. So, again, what you just said is e-commerce started becoming a thing. Like, people were shopping from home. People had disposable cash because they weren't going out and partying and stuff. So, man, we just really went hard on the e-commerce angle. Like, get your sort of, like, I can't remember the exact angles, but it was just like, now's the opportunity, get your brand online. Like it was all those kind of things. And yeah, pretty quickly it turned around, and that was what was initially our sort of lowest moment quickly became our, like that was the curve. That was the thing that really just kind of skyrocketed things.
What time frame did that happen? Like overnight, and then
honestly,
did you sit down and like do a war room with your team, or how did you go about that? Because pivoting, we obviously pivoted and did very well during COVID, and I helped a couple other guys who I know pivot as well. But yeah, what was your process in actually doing it? Because people don't understand. It's very simple. They just don't take that time.
To be honest, there was no war room because there was no real team. It was me, my business partner, and 3 interns at the time.
Yeah.
So basically, what it was just I don't know, just make it work.
Make it happen.
Just try shit. Just do stuff.
What have you got to lose? You just lost 75% of the your clientele.
We just ran ads. The phones started going off. Like phones started going off. Me and my business partner were just closing deals. But the thing is that growth there. I just want to caveat that, right?
Yeah.
It was insane growth. It was the wrong fucking growth. We were closing any business that wanted to give us money. We were saying yes, no issues. Oh, you just launched your website 2 days ago? Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, come in.
Yeah, not qualified.
So
leads.
I really have to. I really want to get that clear with people, right? Because that's a big lesson.
Ethically for you taking them, because it's not the right decision they should have made. But you, as a business, you're surviving because there's 2 elements to that.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, because we didn't have the experience. I didn't realize about product market fit. I didn't realize about these. I knew I could help this person, but because I didn't have the experience, and I was like, I was thinking about the agency. I'm like, I know I can help you, but you've got $1,000 to your name. You don't have the runway. You've got you got to find the right angles. It takes time to do that. So like it was just a lack of experience basically. But yeah, that's what happened, man. We just started running ads. We just started working with everyone. And as I said before, we were doing a lot of work that we had no business doing in terms of like, you know, people coming to us asking for SEO, had never done SEO, but we were doing the work. And the reason that we actually said yes to it was because I knew I'd work it out for them. Even if it didn't like, it wasn't profitable for us, I knew I would work it out. So the great thing about that kind of position for anyone that's looking to get started with anything is when you say yes to the thing, what happens is you've got, let's say, $2,000 in your hand, okay? And with that $2,000, you can go onto Upwork and interview 60 people like I did and find someone talented and give them a reason to work with you. So, but when you don't have the money, no one's going to talk to you. You got nothing to offer them. So that's what I love about that. And I actually found some very talented people that I still work with to this day, not off Upwork, but other sort of channels and other opportunities that I still work to with this day. And basically they're partners of ours now. We're making a lot of money together. And that all just started from saying yes to a lot of shit.
So in the process of you now acquiring clientele, I know that you said during the COVID period, you were just saying yes to everyone.
Yeah.
Is there a qualifying phase or qualifying period of getting your clientele now?
He has one of the best onboard. Like I found Defiant and Jamie through their work because I love a good burger. So I found it through Milky Lane and the ads they were doing. I was like, I'd always stop and I'd always look because they're pretty and they're makes you want to eat them. And I found out who did the ads, and then his onboarding process is actually one of the best I've ever seen for qualifying out people who aren't right.
Yeah. Well, now it's only getting more
rigorous.
Rigorous as we go. So now, like I said before, we don't work with anyone that's spending under like 15K. Yeah. Like they have to be spending 10 to 15K absolute minimum to work with us. And I know that might sound a little cocky and whatnot, but the reason for that is, first of all, it's like a filter. Like I know if you aren't spending 15K, you've got work to do on your product before you come to me and I throw fuel on it. If you come to me like we were in this crazy growth period where you've got a drop shipping product and you've got a website, okay? Me working with you, I'm actually going to accelerate your losses.
Correct. Yeah, okay, because you're putting it in the face of more people.
Yeah. I'm just accelerating your failure. Like I didn't know this at the time. I'm gonna say that I seriously didn't. Now I do. So that's why 15K. If you're spending 15K on a platform, you've got something right. Like people want what you've got to offer, and you've found some kind of efficiency in your business somewhere, right? We can come in and actually show you how to scale that and get more attention. But again, like if your back end's no good, and you start getting sales and you start getting activity, it's only going to accelerate that pain, so to speak. So yeah, the filters are getting more rigorous, man, and for good reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what about any advice of anyone wanting to get into the digital marketing scene? What is there any advice that you'd give someone that's just starting out?
Do it. Get into it. And
like someone out of uni is super keen to get in because at the moment we all know the job market is fucked. There's no good people out there. Well, apparently they all have jobs. But yeah, like how would someone go about getting into the marketing space?
Man, I can only talk on how I did it, which is
not the stereotypical way of doing it, really either.
I mean, I can only talk.
What you look for as an employer, like that's
what I look for as an employer. Because that's
like if someone is. Because we're all on, you and I are business owners. There's going to be heaps of people listening to our podcast are business owners as well.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who are interested in the topic.
Yeah.
And so they might want to get into marketing, but they're like, there's so many agencies out there. I don't know what it looks for.
Yeah.
There's a million motherfuckers who just graduated with a marketing degree.
Yeah.
And not all of them get jobs.
Yeah, no,
at all.
Sure.
So what separates them from that would stand out for you, or the things that you look for in people who have no experience but they're coming in, because you've given people opportunity,
massive,
like the tradie, and same with me, because we back the people.
Yep,
we can always learn something, but you can't train an attitude. So
you took the words out of my mouth, man. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like the interns that we started off with, what was very like what I saw in them was just they showed up, they're like, I just want to learn, like teach me everything. They're like a sponge basically. And they brought energy, man. They brought a good vibe.
Yep.
You know, we're trying to build something. We're young. We're a startup. You want people that come through and they're just fucking G'd, man. Like they're G'd to be there. They're excited. They're, you know, just willing to take on anything and try this and do that. Like some of our interns have been very, very pivotal in some of the stuff that we offer. You know, one of our interns in particular, she was really into the AR filters. We were focused on paid ads. Like, and she's like, hey, there's an opportunity here. You know, get into these filters. I will source the creators. I'll get it all done. You guys just get the deals. We're like, all right, brilliant. Like,
done.
Yeah, we went and got the deals. We started offering it, and she started executing it. And all of a sudden, that became something that we explored. So, yeah, just show up ready to, like, show up with energy, the right attitude, willingness to learn, and just don't be someone that's reliable too.
Yep.
If you show those qualities, man, you get opportunities.
I know we touched on this just before we started the podcast too, and Luke cut off the conversation because I think it's important.
Yeah.
From two aspects of both business owners, both different industries, but both intertwining industries. How does family friend life come into owning and running a business?
Yeah, man, that's a big one. That's something that's been on my mind a lot, actually.
Yep.
Because I still haven't worked out the best way to, like, balance everything.
Yep.
And I'll be honest about that. I'll be raw about that. Yeah.
There's no balance, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. It's tricky, but I guess when you're just so, when you got a massive purpose, it's like you don't want to balance it with anything else. You just want to go all in with it, which, rightly or wrongly, is kind of just what happens, for me anyway. But yeah, with friends and family, man, my family has been so supportive. My business is a family business now, man.
Yep.
My wife works with me, and does an awesome job. She runs our sales team, and she's been there through every sort of pivotal moment for me, supporting me. So yeah, definitely wouldn't be able to do it without her. My old man is our general manager.
Awesome.
Which is
obviously knows business too.
Yeah, he's the backbone, man. He's the backbone to the company. He's got a lot of experience, and he allows me to play offense, and he, basically plays defense.
Awesome. And I know a lot of people, well, I personally have heard people say don't mix family and business or friends and business. How do you find that synergy or connection within your business?
Oh, I can see why people say that, man, because it's fucking tricky, bro. Like, it's tricky.
Because you've got to separate the relationship to business-based decisions.
Of course. It's tricky, but when you, like, if you can get it right, there's nothing like it, man, because, employees are here today, gone tomorrow. No matter what the vision is, that's just the way it goes. Like, everyone's got to look out for number one. But when it's family, like, mate, it's, you can rely on them, especially when you get it right.
Yep.
So, yeah, look, I don't think it would be for everyone. I definitely know a few people that it really hasn't worked out.
Yep.
For us, man, it's working well. So
why is that? Like, did you set boundaries? Like, did you all sit down and go, hey, these are the rules of the game?
Yeah.
For family and then outside, or is it just like, we're all good, but just when it's business, don't take it personally, motherfucker?
Yeah, I think it's just that kind of understanding. I don't think there's ever been like a conversation about it or anything. Oh, actually, no, sorry, there was. Before my wife joined, we really said, we're not going to let this get in the way. If it doesn't work, we're going to be, like, mature enough to say, we tried it, it didn't work. Go and continue your career at a company. She was going really, really well in sales. Like, she was, working at REA, car sales, as, a salesperson, smashing her targets.
Yep.
So she would have had a very, very successful career, and she was having a successful career. So we just said, look, let's give this a crack. If it works out, awesome. If it doesn't, you're going to go back into a career, and we're going to keep our marriage number one at all times.
That's paramount, the relationship.
That was a conversation, but since then we haven't had that.
Do you find it difficult to separate emotion and business?
I find it difficult to probably not that. I find it difficult to switch off, like switch conversations.
Yep.
So, like, for example, you're at the dinner table. Like, I find it hard. Like, there's so much shit that's happening in the day, and we're all doing our own thing, doing our own meetings. And we sit down, and it's like, you want to like, if your partner worked at another role, when you sit down for dinner, you'd want to ask them, how's your job? Like, how did it go today? How'd your day go? For us, it's like sometimes this little weird thing of like, oh no, don't talk about business at the table type thing.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
because you're doing that together
that's a bit
all day.
weird. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one there. I'm still trying to work that one out. But look, on weekends we try and do something here and there. I'm always working, but man,
yeah,
weekends are an opportunity to get shit done with no meetings. So I love working on weekends. Bro, like I said at the start, I'm still trying to work this shit out, man. Yeah. So if you guys have any tips, let me know.
Everyone is, bro, and that's the whole reason I did the podcast as well. Yeah. Because all the good people want to learn.
Yeah.
It's never ending. That's why business is fun.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's always it's a never ending game of, I don't know what fun
of learning.
Yeah. It's just badass.
Another point, Jamie, you wanted to mention earlier that you wanted to talk about was also starting a family while running a business as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that's on my mind. Like, I remember a time where, man, kids, like the whole topic of kids was like, for me, no chance. I couldn't see how it would fit in. I couldn't see anything. Like,
to your lifestyle, or you couldn't see it in your future, or
he's a fucking DJ, bro.
Yeah, exactly, bro. No, that's true, bro.
Does any of those other DJs have? They'd have families and kids and stuff, wouldn't they?
Yeah, some of them do, man. Some of them do. Yeah, very successful with that as well. So, yeah, man. Look, there's a phase of my life. I think a lot of young guys probably go through it. But yeah, even up until recently, man, like all my friends started having kids, things like that. I just didn't understand, like, how is this gonna fit into my day? Like, where, how? But then, recently my sister's had 2 babies. One's 1 year old. One she just had 3 weeks ago, and man, just like seeing them is just. I think what I realized is that when you have a kid, and I don't know because obviously I don't have a kid, but I feel like when you have a kid, like, yes, you'll be hustling, you'll be doing your thing, but at the end of the day, when you look at that kid, like, nothing fucking matters. Yeah. Like, that's just going to be the thing where, like, you're fully switched off, you know? And to me, that's, like, pretty crazy because I rarely switch off. When I hop into my car, I'm pretty switched off. Still thinking, but yeah, like, there's a very few rare times, like, with my missus, you know, certain times when we're out, I can switch off. But yeah, I think just having that kid, you know, like, when it's time.
It's home time.
Yeah, when it's home time. Like, that's something that's very appealing to me.
That's awesome.
Because for me, I could work, like, I'm sure every entrepreneur, there's never nothing to do.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's always something to do. Like, you could work 24 hours a day if you are, you know, if you could stay awake. So yeah.
What's been your proudest moment about starting Defiant Digital so far?
Proudest moment. Oof.
Or yeah, proudest or biggest moment.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, holy shit, we did this.
Man, that's crazy.
Like, what's made you step back and smell the roses and be like, fuck, like.
I think I kind of do that on a very regular basis, but I will say over the last, like, week or so, I've really been feeling that a lot because last couple of months, man, has been a real rebuild for us. Massive rebuild. Bought out my business partner.
So you're the only director now?
Me and my dad.
Yep.
Yeah, me and my dad own the business 100% now. So that's been a massive thing. Like, that wasn't easy. Definitely not something that was, you know, I was super excited about, super happy about. It just had to happen.
Yep.
So yeah, that happened probably a few months ago now. Man, we've had, you know, people leave, people join. You know, as every business is going through at the moment, man, it's like staff issues. It's hard. So lately, over the last kind of 3-4 months, I've been wearing 5 hats again. Like, I've gone from I won't say CEO, like, whatever, you know, founder, and just focused on growth every single day and big high level things for the agency. I've then gone into running ads and getting back into the trenches with my team to rebuild this thing from the ground up. So I guess to answer the question, one of my proudest moments is actually today, because just getting through that and having the team that we now have in place, I learned so much about who we need in the team throughout the last 4 months. I've now got highly experienced people from some of the best, like, agencies out there that have come to join us, working on the accounts, and I'm fucking pumped, man.
Yep.
Like this is our opportunity to go again now.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd say today is the proudest moment.
I find it interesting that you say finding, you know, your spot within the team and what you're doing and wearing 5 different hats, because I listened to a podcast called The Diary of a CEO.
Yeah.
And they had the Gymshark founder on there, and he
Good
mentioned
episode.
great episode.
Yep.
And he mentioned about his roles within the business, how they've changed, and he's had to step in and out of the business because he wasn't the right person or fit for that position. He's been from marketing to design to being director to he fired himself as GM because he knew someone else was going to be a better GM than him. And have you found you having to do that within your business?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like obviously I've stepped down into the trenches to run ads and keep the business going and keep the momentum going. But the people that I've hired are so much better than me at that. They're so much more experienced in there. I've got a good vision. I know how, like, the details of how I want things done. But the thing is, these people that I've now brought in, they're A players, man. They're people that have been doing this for way longer than me, exposed to way more than me. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a media buyer. I'm not a creative strategist. I'm a person, like, I'm focused on growth, man. I'm trying to kick down doors, like with this Man City thing, with, you know, opportunities. That's who I am, and I'm very aware of that.
Yep.
So obviously,
that's the key.
Yeah.
Self-awareness right there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but the great thing, the best thing ever, man, is stepping down back into those trenches. Like, it allowed me to sharpen my saw, right? I really got a chance to be hands-on with accounts. Like, Luke, you saw on the Bearded Chap, like, just getting scrappy, man. Like, a few things weren't working for us on the account. Just fucking buying the product, bringing it in, jumping in my car, making UGC because I know UGC works. The thing popped.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. And it's been on a couple of different accounts. And now I've been able to kind of, like, because I got removed from the ads for a while there. Now coming back and doing what I believe in and then showing the team, like, okay, this is how, like, be creative in getting around situations. Now I can say it and they see it. They've seen it. It's not just like some guy talking shit from up here. So that's been really great about stepping back into the trenches and just getting an understanding of the business and who we need in there, in those seats.
I think it's important from a leading perspective too, that you need to show your team that you are able to do it. You're able to lead the team.
It's leadership through action.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing.
Guide the chariot and show them, like, this is how we're going to get shit done. This shit works. I'm in here with you guys doing this too. I'm not better than anyone here. We're all doing this to achieve the same goal.
Absolutely, man. And the whole culture of the agency has really, really changed too. Obviously, since, you know, over the last couple of months with all the change that's happened, that was a bit of a turbulent time in the agency, if I'm being honest. So
we've seen it as a customer as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, man.
Yeah.
You've seen people come and go.
Yeah.
You know, and other customers have seen it too. And man, I'm not trying to hide anything.
No. It was good because like you and I have had very frank conversations because that was a reason why at one stage I was like unhappy. Yeah. But as a business, and this is like an absolute accolade to you guys, copped on the chin, fucking pivoted, and
that's it, man.
Now we're getting results. And that's like, people always talk about that. Your best customer are the ones that had a bad experience, you turned to a great experience because it showed that you cared. It showed that you put in the hard work. We do it with our customers all the time who either don't get deliveries on time or had a bad employee or team member in the past who hasn't looked after a wholesale account. We lost them for like 5 years. But that's a $200,000 loss because one person was shit at their job and it reflected on the business.
Exactly.
So it's wildly how important that turnaround is.
It's massive, man. And just being able to turn it around. Like, we've been talking internally in the agency about that exact thing, especially with the Bearded Chap. And man, just people seeing, like, okay, when shit isn't going as good, you can turn it around. Don't fucking give up. Like, get scrappy. Like, I've said that probably 10 times in this thing, but do what the fuck you need to do to turn that thing around.
You need to find what doesn't work before you find what does work.
Well, if you don't, your business is dead. Because if you do that to all your customers, you won't have any customer in 1 second. So again, it's just being self-aware, like, as an owner, and I'm the same. Getting in the trenches, getting your hands dirty, because you actually can fucking you feel what's happening.
Oh man, you learn so much about your business doing that, and that's like, now that we're going again, like, for a bit of a growth spurt now. I'm not letting go of that. I'm definitely not letting go of that. It's something I'm going to keep very, like, my hand on the pulse with the business, and I now know who we need in those seats.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like part of my BDMing, this is another thing I've learned about scaling and growing a team. I was so fucking focused on like building a sales pipeline. Okay. I completely forgot to build a HR pipeline.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
You understand what I mean by that?
Elaborate on that.
All right. So what I mean by that is I was so busy getting sales and I just forgot that people leave as well. It's not just customers that leave. It's talent that leaves. Someone comes along and offers them a crazy, ridiculous offer that we're not going to match. They're going to take the money. So they should. I would too if I was an employee. So when recently I've had this realization that always be sort of out there recruiting, building a recruitment pipeline so that when that stuff happens, man, your business, like you don't have to go back into the trenches. You now, like I said, I know the profile, I know exactly who I need in these roles now.
Yeah.
So now that I've got time, yes, I'm going to be hunting opportunities, big brands. I'm also running ads for, you know, the roles that we have in the squad and just building those connections, man.
I hear you, bro. Like literally probably 2 months ago, I had that same revelation because I was sitting there and looking at my role and I'm like, am I the right person for, like, just a hard conversation to assess, am I the right person to take this business to the next level? And looked at myself and went, yep, am at the moment. If anything else changes, I'm always being aware and keeping on my finger on the pulse. Yeah. But I had offloaded my recruiting just so I could get the stuff I needed to do, which was big sales across the line. And I just had this moment where I was like, no, I actually need to be the head recruiting officer.
Yeah.
Because
Correct.
the talent, like I am not the best marketer in the world. My strength is in sales and doing a deal.
Yep.
And creating the vision and where I want the business to go, just like you said before.
Yep.
But that whole finding the better person and getting there and adding to that culture, that fit and getting the right people together so you can accelerate from there.
Absolutely, man.
It blew my mind. Yeah. And actually a really good example of that was in, have you seen We Crashed yet? It's about WeWork. It's got Jared Leto.
I haven't seen it.
Who's the woman?
I've seen that. I've seen the ads for that.
Bro, it is
sick.
fucking good. Yeah, it's very interesting. But they mentioned it in there as well. Yeah. And I was like, because when you have the best talent, you can execute at such a high level.
Bro,
and nuts. Smoke your competitors.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And your customers are happy. The other team members are happy because they're working with A players. And man, everything just works a lot more optimized. I've noticed that the difference in the last 2-3 months has been, it's night and day, man. Literally night and day.
In business results or internally?
Both.
Yeah.
Both, man. Yeah, we've had some record, like we've beaten Black Friday numbers for a bunch of our clients. Just on a normal month without sale yet.
Oh, no,
wow.
We haven't beat that yet.
Haven't been.
Not Black Friday. We've got to smack Black Friday.
We will this month.
Yeah,
we will this month, man.
Yeah.
We're on track. But the other sort of like thing that I've been thinking about, so I think one mistake that I also made when it comes to hiring and scaling and growing the team was I just got so excited when like I'd be on an interview and someone would be very, very pumped to join us.
Fuck yeah. It's the best feeling in the world.
It's a nice feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I fucking made a few decisions to hire people just off that. I was just like, man, this is good energy. This guy's really good culture fit and things like that. Don't do that. No. Don't solely do that because that's maybe for interns at the start. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
When you're trying to hire like experienced people to really solve a problem, that can't be your only criteria. The way I look at it now, it's very, very simple, man. I look at this person, every person that I interview, I look at it. I look at the person and I just kind of look at their credentials, look at how they're responding to questions and their experience. And I just simply ask myself, like, is this person raising the average IQ of the company or detracting from that?
Yeah.
Simple. If they're adding to the average IQ of our company, they're adding something, great. Good fit. And also, of course, you tick the rest of the boxes that this role requires.
Yeah.
But, are they are they adding to the average IQ? It's the question. The first thing I do in the first couple of seconds of talking to someone.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's your what's the word? Your standards in regards to hiring, firing. Like mine over the last 9.5 years, I would hire, give heaps of people heaps of chances, and then literally it's probably cost us 2 years of behind growth in total, and a fuck ton of stress to me. Now I am same thing. Got the criteria, tick. Got the values of energy, tick.
Yep.
Literally, I know within 2 days if they're going to stay in the business or not. I do not muck around anymore. What's your philosophy on that?
Recently, very, very similar to that as well, man. So with all of our roles, we've got like it's probably not 2 days, but like, because what we do is a little bit more, you need time to showcase a result. So for us though, there is definitely stuff like there's a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and 90 days. Like they're the kind of, I guess, milestones in a employee's kind of journey in most roles in the company. When it comes to like design and stuff, very, very quickly I can know if someone's got it or not. But when it comes to strategy, you need time to implement it, see how it plays out, get data, respond. It takes a bit of time.
Yeah, it's different on different industries. And I was talking about particular roles within our business as well. So other roles, you have to wait and assess them, obviously. But I was just interested to do that because a lot of people are scared, and then next minute it's 2 weeks, and then next minute like they know it's not right, and then next minute it's 6 months, and next minute it's 3 years, and that motherfucker's still in the business. And and literally, you could be way ahead because you're either making more work for you, letting you down, or you can even lose great team members because that is AB players like playing with each other. CD players get rid of AB players. So,
oh man, it's opportunity cost too. Like especially in the sales department, man, like you're paying to generate leads or to generate, like your brand is generating buzz and generating inbound inquiries. If you've got a like person that's kind of lackluster, and you'd know this because you're in sales, like, man, not only are you paying them a wage, but you're also burning all of the leads that you've created as well. So it's a very, very costly exercise, man. Very costly exercise. So I guess the message is, us as business owners, when we get to these kind of points and pivotal moments, you start really cracking the whip a little quicker than what you would do before. Before, you want to see the best in people. I believe in this person. They're a good person, man. They're a friend of a friend. Like, I want to give them a couple shots, but you're not doing anyone good in that scenario.
Back to marketing. Obviously, you got your major platforms and social at the moment. Is there anything that you're seeing trending? Like, how active are you searching for that next thing? Because if you're the first on those new platforms, you're fucking huge and you command a lot of attention. So, is there anything you've found, and are you actually actively doing that in between trying to run a business?
Yeah, look, TikTok obviously is the major one. TikTok is I'm on it. Like I watch TikTok and all that kind of stuff. I don't really make too many. We had a podcast before as well, and we've got some stuff on there. But I actually recently just hired a girl who is like an expert. She's been doing TikTok. She knows everything about TikTok, top to bottom. So we're really going to start pushing that one quite hard, man. So. Look, I think in regards to that whole comment about, being first on the platform organically, yes, like I agree. Getting on it early, you'll benefit from that organic reach. But I guess as an advertiser, as someone who knows how to run and create ads, for me, it's just like I'm always going to be doing that. Like I'm always going to be trying to run ads and get attention that way too. So kind of doesn't necessarily matter in a way. When I hop on it.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Do you see much stuff, into the future, like next 10 years, with the way technology is advancing, especially in digital space, with the metaverse, all those types of things? Where do you see digital marketing fitting in there? Because this is exciting stuff. I'm finding. And have you thought about that much?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Look, there's no denying it. Whether you believe in it or not, that's where the world's going.
It's happening,
It's happening. No one can stop it. So, I don't know. Like, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not like massive into that sort of thing at the moment. There was a phase where I was like full on, like, yeah, man, blah blah. But to be honest with you, like I understand how powerful and how big it's going to be, And as soon as the opportunities kind of arise for it, we will be there making noise. And whoever's working with us, we'll be able to show them the way.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
So what's next for Defiant over the next 2 years? What do you got planned?
Yeah, what's next for Defiant? Definitely just continuing to grow the team with experience. Like, I strictly am not hiring any junior people. It is, sorry to any sort of intern. We're not the agency anymore for that. We had our run with that, gave a lot of people opportunity. But for us, man, just growing the team with A players, like serious talent.
Yep.
Mate, it's the only way for us moving forward. But the real vision is obviously to work with the big brands and all that kind of stuff. But also, I don't want to strictly be a client servicing company. Like, I want to have our own brands. I want to build our own brands internally.
Yeah, cool.
This is something I'm very, very interested in. Obviously, I've had such a great position where I get to see brands, a good brand. What does a good brand look like? What does a bad brand look like? Like, what are the ingredients that make something successful? I've been able to see that firsthand. So, got a couple of ideas, man, but the priority at the moment is just to really pick up this steam and get the agency to a really nice point where we can then go 100% in on that as well. Yeah, amazing. With the right team, like a whole team built for that, like for building internal brands. Yeah, that's the vision, man.
Man, I think it might be a good time to wrap it up. It's like just feels natural.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice? One last word from you. Do you have any advice that you give to someone who's thinking about starting a business, or we'll do it from that take.
Yeah. So advice for starting a business: just if it's something that's keeping you up at night, and you're going to be successful, then do it. So, basically, you know if you're going to be successful or not. I feel, right, when you're starting something. Because, like, for example, if you're someone that wants to be successful at getting big or going to the gym, that you're going to commit to that and show up. And even on the days where you don't feel like doing it, you're still going. That's a sign that you're going to be successful with this thing. Same thing with business too. So if you feel it inside, if it's keeping you up at night, if it's the only thing that you're thinking about, do it. Just start, and don't be afraid to do scrappy things and make things happen, break down doors.
Yeah. Just
get into it, get started, because that momentum is what's going to just help you go with it. So that's the advice.
The quote I was meant to say last week was, don't be afraid to walk away from something good to achieve something great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to do this time.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
on.
bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
It was fucking awesome. So much like actual good learnings in that.
That's good, man.
segment.
Hopefully it helped a few people, and it was good to chat to you boys.
100%. Where can people find Defiant Digital?
Yeah, man.
If they want to check you out.
Defiant HQ on Instagram. Just our website, defiantdigital.com.au. Yeah, man.
And you got your story if they want to follow you
myself,
personally.
just Jamie Kritharas. So yeah, I know the surname's a bit of a tongue twister.
Had it my whole life.
That's right. It'll be in the comments. Dude, thanks so much for coming on.
Awesome. So much, boys.
That is a wrap.
That's
we'll
a
see you
wrap.
next time.
Appreciate it, boys. Thank you.
Boom.
Awesome.
Well done.
That was really